Hello. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Rosanna and I talk about religion, spirituality, and whatever is going on in the world. And today I want to talk about young Pharaoh. Young Pharaoh, if you're watching this video, please don't drag me. I just want to share your story because I feel like there's something that we can learn from it. Before we understand how he went from being the spiritual leader to being called crazy by some people, we need to go back. We need to go way back before the platform, the videos, and all the attention that he was getting from people. Young Pharaoh's real name is Marshall Daniels. He was born in Buffalo, New York, and early on he was separated from his parents. He was taken from his mother at birth and didn't meet his father until he was about 13 years old. He was mostly raised by his aunt in a house where his grandmother had a lot of children. We're talking 15 to 20 people living in a tiny space. Even as a child, he was already in survival mode. The adults in the house didn't give him the proper care a child needs. Eventually, he moved in with another family member, but after getting into a heated altercation with his cousin, he ended up getting kicked out of the house.
I came from where the crackhead keep the lights on. That's where I came from. I didn't come from where nobody else came from.
Even though you were raised in the projects, you still had a pretty good life coming up, is what you're saying.
Hell nah.
But
I had
you
a
said in the
horrible
beginning.
life.
But you said in the beginning.
I said I had a good life until my family fucked my grandma specifically and all my grimy ass aunts. Fucked my household up and ran my stepdad out.
Well, tell us about the good times. No memories with your family.
No. Family used to drop us off at my grandma's house and bounce. And it'd be 20 of us at my grandma's house watching ourselves, raising our damn selves. I grew up in a household where the oldest watched the youngest and the youngest become the oldest and they watch the next youngest and the parents is out doing whatever.
Now imagine being a kid with no parents, no real home, and no one you feel genuinely cares about you. He said himself that he felt completely alone. So he did what a lot of kids in that position ended up doing. He turned to the streets and started hustling just to provide for himself. Marshall eventually met an older drug dealer who took him in and gave him his own trap house. And from there, that became his reality. Even though he was living like that, young Marshall was still going to school and getting good grades. He was selling drugs on one side, then showing up to school like everything was normal. He tried his best to keep that balance going, but all of that changed after he went out partying with his homeboy and got shot in the chest. He almost lost his life. Learning about his childhood really broke my heart because he was very young and he felt like he didn't have any other choice. It was either he joined the streets or become homeless. Marshall spent some time in the hospital, partially paralyzed, and once he was discharged, he went right back to the trap house. It's sad, but that's the reality for a lot of people stuck in survival mode. By the time he turned 18, he was suffering from severe PTSD due to getting shot and constantly having to watch his back. So he made a decision to get a regular job and leave the street life behind. He was working 2 jobs while getting his GED and was excited for college. Things really felt like they were about to change for the better. Then, boom. He gets arrested and charged with illegal gun possession. A gun he claims wasn't his. That charge got him 3 years in jail. Behind bars, young Pharaoh spent a lot of time alone reading. He became obsessed with learning human psychology. According to him, it helped him understand people's behavior and even sympathize with some of his jailmates. That's where he says his spiritual awakening began. He believed he was spiritually protected by his ancestors and would spend a ridiculous amount of time meditating. So much so that he said he saw a UFO outside of his cell window. At the same time, he started believing that Freemasons were watching him and that his lawyer was involved in keeping him in jail.
And then I started meditating. Like I've been meditating, but in jail I was meditating real hard. And this is when I started like really getting in touch with the ancestors. Like one time I was meditating, right? And I felt my pineal gland start literally beating like a heart and then my nose started bleeding. I'm talking about shit like that, like, cause all you got is time. So, and I stayed in the box. So I might be in the box meditating for 3 hours. I don't even know 3 hours just went by. But shit is happening to me. Like outside my window, one time I seen a UFO. I seen it 3 times in a row, you know what I'm saying? But it was like always coming to my window. Like I was in one cell, I want to say I was in cell 39 on this unit called golf unit. and the UFO had came to my window. Then I got moved to the other side of the jail, and that same UFO was at my window. And it wasn't no motherfucking star. You know what I'm saying? I noticed it was a damn UFO.
Now, I'm not a psychiatrist, but considering everything he had been through, it sounds like he might have been experiencing some form of spiritual psychosis, especially with the level of PTSD he was carrying. When he got out of jail, young Pharaoh was a different person. Nothing felt the same anymore, and he had no desire to go back to the street life. Getting a regular job didn't feel right either, so he turned to the internet instead. Before I continue with the story, I just want to point out that when he got out of jail, he didn't seek any type of treatment for his PTSD. That matters because you're going to see how that might have contributed to his downfall. He started posting videos on Facebook, debating Christians, and talking about spirituality. Several of his videos went viral, but because his page kept getting deleted, he decided to move to YouTube, and that decision changed everything. Young Pharaoh saw almost instant success on YouTube. It gave him an audience, validation, and for the first time, a real sense of purpose. The message he was sharing were interesting and empowering to the Black community. He talked about spirituality, history, and ancient knowledge. And at first, even if you didn't agree with everything he said, the core message was about Black people rising and prospering. I'm not sure what was the trigger for this, but over time, the tone of his content started to shift. I don't know if it was his ego, the pressure, or the stress from his legal battles. His content became extreme. He began posting anti-Semitic content and calling all white people devils. I mean, it got wild. And y'all already know what happens when people start talking crazy like that on YouTube. They shut him down real quick. So he started asking his followers for donations so he can hire a lawyer to help him fight YouTube. Around the same time, opportunities he had lined up began to disappear. He was scheduled to speak at a major conservative event, but that invitation got pulled because of his past content. In my opinion, this is when we really started to see the downfall. The videos went from teaching to pure chaos and drama. Instead of educating, he was arguing with everyone. He got into multiple public feuds with people in his own circle and within the conscious community. Nature Boy became one of his most public enemies. And if you haven't seen my video on Nature Boy, I definitely recommend you checking that out. Young Pharaoh was also dealing with issues involving his baby mother. At one point, he claimed she drugged him, and when people started showing genuine concern for his well-being, he claimed he had been abducted by aliens and that his soul had been switched. It was so sad to witness all of this. Remember when I mentioned that he never got help for his PTSD? Well, you can really see the manifestation of that here. All of this chaos and craziness landed him back in jail. I don't have all the details on why he went back to jail. There are allegations that he might be struggling with drug use. While making this video, I saw a few posts online saying that he might be out of jail, but honestly, I'm not sure. And that's the story of young Pharaoh. What I took away from young Pharaoh's story is that when you have a lot of trauma and you don't heal from them, it doesn't just go away. It stays inside and it grows, and it could potentially destroy your life. Real growth is not just about knowledge or success. It's about doing the inner work to heal from your trauma. That's number one. In order for you to be successful in life and continue to flourish, you have to let go of the past. You have to let go of the trauma and the things that are keeping you bound to negativity. But anyways, let me know what you think about this video. Comment, let's have a little conversation in the chat. If you don't have nothing to say, just say hi, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.